Welcome guys, Casual here from Casual GGs, and we're back today with another Endless Archive video. Today we're gonna talk about companions and how they are gonna fare in the Endless Archive. So I've got a good news for sure for some companions and what type of build options you guys have. I also have some bad news, but we'll save it to the end of the video. Alright, so we're gonna talk about stages, cycles and arc. If you guys missed my video on the top 10 tips on Endless Archive, I've linked it on top. Please have a look at it to understand further on what are stages, what are cycles and what are arcs, because I'm gonna reference them a lot throughout this video. Alright, so for the companion strategy in Endless Archive, what I realized is normally one type of companion is not good for all type of scenario. For example, stages. Stages are always when we are fighting mobs, and the number of mobs, the difficulty of the mob, and some surprise visits also happens during stages. So for that kind of setup, having a tank companion normally doesn't help so much, because the tank can only focus on one mob while we have another 10 to 15 mobs surrounding us and so forth. So for stages, having a DPS companion will add more value because they're gonna help you to clear the mobs faster. At the end of the day, what's happening through Endless Archive is that every day we're gonna start from zero, building up to Arc 1, Arc 2, Arc 3, and that takes time. So faster we clear them, the more time you guys save on a daily basis going through Endless Archive. So whenever you guys are in stages, I would recommend just have one DPS companion and bring them out and go through the stages, and then when you guys go on the cycle boss fight or the final arc boss fight, you guys can switch to other type of companion. So what options you guys have in terms of DPS companion? Here we have Sharp on the left and Ember on the right, and this is the gear layout you guys can use for a good DPS build for both of them. At the bottom I have the recommended skill bar layout for each of them. Sharp is my favorite though. He just has good mix of buff, debuff, survivability and good damage on his kit. But Ember is not bad. Ember has good AoE type of damage. Even her ultimate is AoE based, so that kind of helps in a mob scenario. So let's zoom into Sharp. These are actually the details of all the skills which sits on his skill bar. Of course, the heart of his build is gonna be the medium armor vanish skill, which is gonna give him survivability. Ember's gonna use this as well, and Snow Squall, which gives Sharp great survivability even as a DPS. All the skill on top in terms of DPS work hand in hand, but Sharp kind of specializes in single target damage rather than AoE, so he goes fast, killing target after target and just keep on going to the mobs. Sharp, I have done a deep dive video on his build before. I have linked it on top. Alright, so this is a detailed view of the skills which Ember will be using. So Ember has a unique skill where what it does is that it will reset all other skills by 5 seconds, right? So because of that, we don't need quicken trait on her gear. We could go all vigorous so that she has a good healthy life pool. Just use this skill to refresh all the other skills. So that's bread and butter for Ember. Other than that, she has a good skill in Tomb, which will immobilize a bunch of bad guys in front of her and also heal her back. So that's a good combo stun type of skill, and she has good skills where she can do AoE damage. So that's Ember's build. Try it out guys. She's been doing well. So for the cycle mini bosses, what you guys can do is bring a tank. So in terms of tank companion, the two companion I would recommend is, as usual, our favorite companion Zenda or Isabel, our previous favorite companion during the High Isle days. In terms of gear layout, you guys can pick any companion in the game. If you're gonna do a tank, the equipment you're gonna put on them is gonna be standard. It's always gonna be heavy, vigorous gear with a shield and sword. That's it, right? That gives you the best outcome for any tank build. So that's fixed. Now let's go deep dive into Azenda. This is all his skill layout. Now for Azenda, I've done a video to see him in action. I've linked it on top for the guys who want to try out the Azenda tank build. Please check out that video. But the bread and butter for Azenda's build is always these two skills at the bottom. One gives him amazing healing capability where he can also share the heal with you guys, and another gives him an amazing damage shield, which also he shares with your toon as well. That's why Azenda stands out as my best tank companion, because a lot of his buffs, they are strong, but it also applies to your toon when he uses it. So that's always a good thing to have, because not only he's distracting all the damage from the boss to him, he's also making sure our survivability is good as well. So try out Azenda, guys. If you guys haven't tried, you won't regret it. Now let's look at our all-time favorite tank, Isobel. Isobel is all about stacking up heals and also having a damage shield for damage reduction. So this would be all the skills you guys want to put in place for Isobel. She has very good AoE heals, and she also have another good healing skill where she will actually do damage to her target, but as long as she's close to that target, she's also gonna be healing. And since she's gonna be tanking, that's gonna be most of the time, so she will have good survivability with this skill layout. So try it out, guys. Isobel, and this skill layout was my tank since High Isle last year all the way till Necrom's launch. Only post Necrom, Sharp and Azenda just stole the limelight because they have very good interesting skills which makes them stand out. Alright, so that would be the most optimized way of running Endless Archive, guys. What you guys can do is whenever you're in a stage mob fight, you have your DPS companion out and let them help you guys in clearing the mobs. Whenever you reach a cycle boss, you bring out your tank and let the tank whatever boss which is in front of you, and then you can focus on dishing out damage and avoiding all the AoE attacks. So that would be the most optimized way. But if you guys are like me and you don't want to micromanage all this companion stuff, then there is another option as well. What you guys can do is just bring Super Healer Azenda, and this is all the gear and the skill bar layout for him. Super Healer Azenda just makes sure your toon survivability is very high. You don't have to change him. You can bring him to stages, to cycles, and also the final arc boss fight. You'll be fine. But he's not gonna increase your damage, neither he's gonna take away the damage away from your toon. He's just gonna make sure your toon survivability is high. Easy. If you guys don't want to micromanage, take Super Healer Azenda, you guys will be fine. I'm sure you guys noticed all the cooldown in the companion build I just showed was Telvanni efficiency. So let's answer that question. Should you guys use Telvanni efficiency or should you just use some other set? So Telvanni efficiency is not a must-have for Endless Archive, right? So it's an option. Your companions and the build that I have given, they will perform okay without Telvanni efficiency. Just with Telvanni efficiency, they will perform at the most optimum level. But having the most optimum companion for Endless Archive is not required. You guys need a companion. As long as they are performing okay, you can go through 3 arcs in the Endless Archive fine. And the reason I'm saying this is that let's head to the not so good news when it comes to companions. Alright, so the final boss fight, guys. So what's gonna happen is you guys are gonna do 5 cycles, and the final boss you're gonna fight at cycle 5 is the arc boss. That's the big boss, right? When you kill that boss, 1 arc has been completed and you'll go to the next arc. That's the repetition we all gonna do. So I've tried it many times. Unfortunately, companions don't do well in the final arc boss fight. Even with Telvanni efficiency, your companion success rate of surviving those fights is 50% only. Sadly, you guys know I love companions, and I've experimented a lot with the companion builds, but the final boss fight for Endless Archive has one of the kryptonites for companions, which is a lot of AoE damage. And it's not only static AoE damage, there is actually moving AoE damage which chases everyone around the arena. So with that in place, the current companion AI we have in the game just doesn't know how to manage AoE damage, right? They will just stand there and eventually they'll die. We can do super healer Zenda, we can put Telvanni efficiency, we can optimize as much as possible, but constant AoE damage without him dodge rolling out of it is just gonna kill him anyway. So the best success rate would be around 50% of the fight. You're gonna have your companion even with Telvanni efficiency, but after that they're just gonna die. So that's quite sad, but that doesn't mean companions don't help, right? So because that's just the final fight, that's like the 10% experience in the whole Endless Archive. So for 90% of the experience in stages and cycle, your companions help you a lot. So bringing a DPS, bringing a tank, or just a healer throughout the whole fight will definitely benefit and make sure your experience building up to the final arc boss fight amazing. And in the final arc boss, they'll help for sure. If you have a full fight and your companion is healing you 50% of the way, that's always good, right? It's better than no healing at all. Just don't expect the companion to survive the whole fight. That's gonna fall back to your own toon's survivability. So today in this video, we're just talking about companion, right? So I wanted to lay out what are the companion option you guys have in which phases and what are the builds you guys can use, and also the skill. So use that as a guideline. I will do another video for our toon itself. Our toon itself, we need to have a different approach to the Endless Archive. Okay guys, that's what I wanted to share in terms of companion and the build options for you guys. Hope it helped. If you guys have any query, please put it on the comment section. Happy to answer them. Please like the video and also subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't subscribed yet. I will see you guys on the next video. I'm Casual and GG's guys.